What if I told you the future of the internet, the actual home for artificial intelligence, won't be on Earth at all? What if it's going to be floating hundreds of miles above our heads? Okay, let's get into this, because the next frontier for our data might literally be outer space.
Just take a look at this number for a second. 1 million. Let that sink in. What in the world could that possibly represent when we're talking about technology and space? It's not stars, it's not miles.
Yep, that's right. 1 million satellites. In a recent FCC filing, SpaceX laid out a plan for a constellation this massive. And get this, it's not for internet like Starlink. No, this is to create a network of actual data centers orbiting the Earth. A plan so huge it would make the current Starlink system look absolutely tiny.
So the big question is, why? Why this completely unbelievable level of ambition? Well, the answer isn't out there in space, it's right here on the ground. The simple truth is that AI is getting too big, too powerful, and way too hungry for our planet to keep up.
A research paper from Google really hit the nail on the head. AI isn't just another app on your phone. It's becoming a foundational technology, just like electricity or the steam engine was. And just like those revolutions, this new AI revolution is demanding an insane amount of resources, especially energy.
And this chart, wow, this really shows you the scale of the problem. Projections from Goldman Sachs say that by 2030, the energy needed for data centers is going to jump by a staggering 165%. We are basically creating an energy crisis with our own demand for AI.
And it's not just about the power bill. Here on Earth, we are hitting real physical walls. To build new data centers, you need huge areas of land, you put a massive strain on our power grids, and use millions and millions of gallons of fresh water just for cooling. And on top of all that, you have to fight through local rules and building delays that can take years.
So this is where that wild idea comes in, the dream of orbital data. Companies like StarCloud, and of course the big players like SpaceX, Google, and Amazon, they're all looking up for the answer. They're asking this really radical question. What if we just move the cloud off of Earth entirely?
And when you look at it on paper, the idea is pretty undeniable. In orbit, you get constant 24/7 solar power. The vacuum of space, well, that's your free, built-in cooling system. There are no land limits, no strained grids, and, this is a big one, for now, almost no regulations.
Now, before you say this is just science fiction, listen to this. A startup called StarCloud recently did it. They launched an NVIDIA H100 GPU, that's the workhorse of modern AI, into orbit, and proved it could actually work up there. This is a huge first step. It shows that the hardware we used out here can actually survive and do its job in space.
But for every beautiful dream, there's always a reality check. And in space, the ultimate reality check comes from the unforgiving laws of physics. As slick as the orbital data center idea sounds, the engineering challenges are just, well, they're astronomical.
You know, a comment on Reddit just cuts right to the heart of the biggest issue. That whole free cooling in space, it is not that simple. Not at all. It's true you don't need water, but getting rid of heat in a vacuum is actually incredibly hard. Here's why.
It all comes down to a fundamental law of physics. See, on Earth, if something's hot, you just blow air on it with a fan. Easy. But in the vacuum of space, there is no air. The only way to get rid of heat is to radiate it away as infrared light. To do that for a massive data center, you would need equally massive radiators. We're talking huge surfaces designed for nothing but cooling the hardware.
And honestly, the cooling problem is just the tip of the iceberg. You've also got to worry about cosmic radiation that can corrupt data and just fry the electronics. Then there's the fact that you can't just send a technician up to fix a broken server. The cost of launching all that heavy gear into orbit is mind-boggling. And of course, there's the ever-present danger of space debris. The list of hurdles is long and, frankly, pretty daunting.
But you know what? Let's just imagine for a second that we solve all of those huge technical problems. An even bigger question comes up, and this one isn't about physics or engineering. It's about law, ethics, and who's in control.
I mean, really think about this. When the data center is literally in the cloud, floating above every country and continent, whose laws apply? Your data, your photos, your private messages wouldn't be in a specific country with specific privacy laws anymore. It would just be out there, in a legal no man's land.
This basically creates a new Wild West for our data. Information gets stored completely outside national borders, which creates total legal chaos. It could let companies dodge all sorts of regulations they face on Earth, everything from privacy laws to taxes.
And the scariest part? Right now, there is no global framework, no set of rules ready to handle this. We're not prepared.
So we're left with this final, massive question. As our insatiable demand for AI pushes us to look to the stars, we really have to ask, who gets to write the new laws of gravity for our data? Because whoever figures that out isn't just launching satellites, they're going to define the future of information for all of us.